Hey there, good morning. Happy Monday. I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to try my upstairs studio. Happy Monday. Hang on just a second. Try something new today. I'm going to try my upstairs studio. Hang on just a second. There we go. So it's a little bit early. Not too much, but here's the bottom line. Oh, Deacon wants to say good morning. So I'm just going to give it a go up here, up on my second floor. So Happy New Year, happy 2022. We're going to start today with a little bit of foam rolling, not much. And then we're going to head right into where we finished last week's session that I think got cut off a little bit. And we're going to work the woodpecker stance and a little bit of hip rotation. So because we are going to do some hip rotation work, let's start with your foam roller. You can do this with a short or a long foam roller. This is Deacon. Deacon, go lay down. Good boy. Go, get. He's my running partner, best buddy, but he gets in the way a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna go anterior lateral hip flexors. Monday is all about making sure that we're set up for a good week of training, but also to make sure that we're taking the time to reset the body after hopefully what was a good weekend of training. All right, let's hit to the other side. Anterior, front side, and lateral, part of the hip capsule. So just working through that front side of the hip, top of the quad. Some coaches will definitely take you down into the quad. I am not a big fan of that from this position. So am I a fan of foam rolling the quads? Yes. Am I a fan of using your entire body weight to smash the muscle? No. So that's important. All right, let's work through the lats a little bit. Just right here. Thumb is up. And just checking in on that upper body. I haven't in earnest gotten back in the swimming pool, and I'm not spending a ton of time in the drops of my bike. So my lats, for the most part, are pretty good. They're not too tight or spicy, as I might say sometimes. Okay, other side. Let's just get on the side of the rib cage. I like to drag, do a little cross fiber with those lats. If you have been swimming and maybe you did the old 100 times 100 for New Year's or something like that, you're definitely going to want to spend a little bit more time mobilizing through your thoracic spine. Your thoracic spine is really anything that attaches to your rib cage, and that should move. We need mobility in that thoracic spine. So let's go ahead and do the full kneeling position. If you want to take your mat, you might roll it partway, roll it over again to give yourself a little bit more of a pad for those knees. Nothing should be painful. It'll actually impair your ability to move if you're experiencing pain. So don't suck it up, make yourself comfortable. And let's go heels ever so slightly outside of the knees. So I want to take those hips in internal rotation. And from this position, we're just going to go some head wraps using the foam roller. So just right there, really try to open up that whole side body and then take it all the way around. We're going to go 10 of these. 2, 3, 4. Keep those heels nice and wide. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All the same way, nice and patient. And 10. Now the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hopefully that's the thing about Mondays. You know, this stuff, the simple stuff is the best stuff. So, you know, hopefully this is just mostly about you guys coming in and me reinforcing as a coach, as a strength coach, as a movement specialist, how important it is to take the time to do this work. Okay, so This would be midnight with that knee. Let's take it out to 10:30. Just because you can go incredibly lateral with your knee doesn't mean you should. So let's take it right here out to about 10:30. And we're just going to keep the shoulders square to me and just a little bit of knee drive, just starting to add a little bit of tension and motion into the inner thigh. Also known as the adductor, ADD, adductor group. I always remembered that in college because I'm like, we always have to remember, like, where does the muscle, where does it attach, or where does it originate, where does it insert, and then what does it do? And that's a big test. I think I scored pretty well on that test because that doesn't require a lot of thought. It just requires a lot of remembering and meaning. But I'll tell you, as I've gotten more and more into my career, I remember that stuff a lot because it's meaningful every single day when it comes to performance and how an athlete is moving. It used to be just about how much we were thinking, how much could that athlete lift? Now, it's not just can they lift it, it's how do they lift it? How do they move? Where is that athlete stuck? So right here, let's turn away. We're going to create this kind of ringing motion. So the knee is going to the right and the upper body is going to go to the left. Just like that. Whoa. And even that little disruption in my movement, that as a coach and a coach's eye might say, why did she lose her balance? What was tight there? What maybe wasn't functioning to create stability and beautiful movement in rhythm and timing? But sometimes it's just you just lose your balance, but sometimes there is an underlying tightness or lack of function somewhere in the body that's causing this disruption. And so how you're moving and the quality that you're moving and the lack of pain that you move within that bubble is all really, really important. Hopefully you changed sides with me. I'm on a little bit of a soapbox this morning. Good. And as I go through this motion, especially on my left side, I'm noticing a little bit more heat, a little bit more tightness in those muscles that connect on the inner part of the thigh. Because there are some muscles from the outside of the hip that do connect there. Okay, let's go into that nice wide stance. We're going to do a little bit of arm tracing. So this foam roller is a little bit shorter than that one. So let's get that wider stance. But from right here, want to work some breathing first. So let's go thumbs to the bottom rib. Thumb is on your bottom rib. Tuck 3 fingers under, and then your pinkies are going to go to the top of your hip bones. And from right there, let's just drop your hips to the back, tuck your chin, create some space and width through your back. So from here, you can see there's a little bit of forward lean, hips to the back, and I'm just going to widen my shoulder blades, really wide on the back. Just kind of dance with that, widen and kind of just move through that. You should feel some tension between your shoulder blades. Now, get a nice wide back and then meet it with a big breath. So you also have a wide front, wide back and wide front, measuring sticks. From right there, elbows to the side, chin back, chest up. And let's go ahead and breathe laterally into that. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 2 more big breaths. 1, and 1 more. Now shake that out. So measuring sticks are all about making sure that as you exhale, you are not going to lose the space on the front side of the body. So the measuring sticks are here so that I can inhale and exhale with some decompression of my lumbar spine. And so the lumbar spine is right below the thoracic spine. So right here, thumbs, let's go again, big breaths. We're going to go 3 decompression breaths. As you exhale, pull your abdomen in. 1 more. And shake that out. So yes, decompression breathing is a lot different than belly breathing. Both are good. I feel like you should be able to control your abdomen in both methods of breathing. When it comes to decompression breathing and performance, it's a big deal and it will help you tremendously. Just hold your posture strong, especially on a run portion of a triathlon or at the end of an ultra run. Okay, so let's go kind of wide here. We're going to go thumbs to thighs, hips to the back, just a little bit. And we're going to drag those thumbs all the way up into the armpits. From here, drop your elbows, show me your hands, reach behind your head. From there, we're going to reach in front of our head, back behind, drag the thumbs across the shoulders, drop the hands down, elbows up, and come right back to the mid-thigh. So we're going to go 5 arm traces. It's just going to throw our shoulders into that position of beautiful mobility. Okay, so thumbs to the mid-thighs, up into the armpits, drop the elbows, reach behind the head, reach all the way in front, come back, hands to the front, drop the hands, elevate the elbows, and all the way back down. All the way back up, drop the elbows, reach behind the head, reach over the head, thumbs to the base of the spine or the base of the skull, all the way back down. Armpits, reach, base of the skull, flip it. 2 more. Elbows down, reach back, all the way back up, all the way back, drop it, drop it. Last arm trace. This is from foundation training. Drop it all the way down, shake that out. Okay, good. From here, we're gonna go right into a founder. So again, foundation training forms the foundation of my teaching of mobility. From right here, knees are kind of in because our feet are squared up. That means the outsides of the feet are parallel, right? So we're not externally rotating. From right there, hips to the back. Scoop the hands from the bottom. Push your hips back even further as you get your hands as a counterbalance. I'm going to turn sideways for you just for a minute. From right here, we're going to drop forward all the way to the foam roller. Bring the hands to the knees and help yourself get back out of that. We're going into a big forward fold. Take a big breath. Create space between your ribs and your hips. Push your hips to the back. Scoop from the bottom. That position right there, that's called your founder. Drop your elbows. From right there, we're dropping. Push the hips back to the top of the foam roller. Now drop your head. Look back between your knees. Bring your hands to your knees. Gently give yourself a little bit of help to get out of there. Scoop to the front, back into a founder. Push your hands forward. Keep your elbows low. Push your hips back. From right there, forward fold. Hands to the foam roller. Push the foam roller forward. Push your hips back. Drop your head. Let's go 3 big breaths here, guys. See if you can get even more space between your fingertips and your sacrum. Push your hips back. Your hands forward, long through the lats. Walk your hands back, hands to your knees. Pull yourself right back out of that. That big hip hinge is something we want to get really comfortable with. I can tell there's definitely some tightness in my hamstrings from my run this weekend, or from my riding and my running. Getting back to it a little bit. All right, so split stance. Right leg in front of left. Make sure that the outsides of your feet are squared up. Take a nice big breath. Look over the cliff. That means that your nose is about 6 or 8 inches in front of your lead leg. From right there, let's go ahead and just scoop the hands from the bottom. Load up that lead leg. Keep your elbows soft. Right here, elbows are lower than my hands. Drop your shoulder blades on your back. From right there, push into your lead big toe. So my right leg is in front of left. I'm pushing in and down into that big toe. Hold that nice and strong. come back out of it. So as I push in, as you push into that lead foot, that is activating a very stable place for us to land on our run training, or pushing pedal wattage, pushing force into the pedal. The more secure and stable that single leg position is, the more power and the more force you're going to be able to produce, but you're also going to be able to reduce that same impact as you run. So it's not just force production we're also after the ability to accept load, and that's a big deal with running. Okay, left leg in front of right, square up the outsides of your feet. That brings your hips into a little bit of internal rotation. Look over the cliff just a little bit. Load up that lead leg, scoop from the bottom, add the weight of the arms. Actively push your big toe on your left leg right now. You should feel a little bit of glute activation from doing that. If you don't, we can talk about that later, but just keep pushing into that big toe. Work your breath, and one more, and good. So we're working our lead leg to get it organized, get it stable. So we don't want to work just mobility. We also need to work stability and the ability to control your nervous system. Okay, so right leg is in front of left. Split stance, both feet squared up. Take a nice big breath. Lean forward. From right here, put your hands on your hips. And we're going to work that rotation of the back hip towards mid-thigh on the lead leg. And we're just going to rotate, drop that lead shoulder down in conjunction with the hip. 2, drop in, 3. As you do that, you're pushing into your big toe on your lead leg. 4, 5, and by doing this, guys, we're starting to light up that lateral hip. 6, on the right side of your lead leg. 7, push into that big toe. 8, 9, and 10. Okay, good. Switch to the other side. Left leg in front of right. Right leg is back. 2 points of contact on that back foot. Take a nice big breath. Look over the cliff. Hands into long wings, scoop to the front. From right there, bring your hands back. Right hip is going to go mid-thigh. And I'm definitely tighter on my left hip. I don't know, maybe, do you have tightness in one side a little bit more than the other? 3, don't try to force it if you do. Just kind of work with it, honor it, negotiate with it. 4, make sure that your chest is forward. 5, 6, sink right hip into internal rotation. 7, 8, 9, one more, and 10. Shake that out. Internal rotation versus external rotation. So from right here, we can grab a yoga block, turn those toes in, squeeze the yoga block nice and strong, and now we're activating inner thigh. So I want everybody to grab something. You can use your foam roller between the knees, and something that you can put force into that you won't break. If you do your water bottle, be careful, you might get squished. Okay, so slightly internally rotate the lower leg. Push the hips to the back. We're going to actively squeeze and switch on adductors, okay? Hands on hips, 5, 4, squeeze, 3, 2, 1. Hips to the front, a little bit of a stretch, hips to the back. Knees are soft, they're not bent. From right here, squeeze the knees, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and relax. So now that we have switched on and strengthened the inner thigh, because even just by switching on, you're going to get a little bit of strength from that. Now we're going to look to add a little bit more tension and find balance between the inner thigh and the outer thigh. So we're just going to go right here into that split stance position, also known as woodpecker. And from right here, scoop the hands to the front. Add the weight of the arms to the lead leg. Push the big toe down into the lead leg. Now, take the elbows, keep them soft, and rotate across the lead leg. From this position, push your fingertips together as strong as you can. See if that lights up that right hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center, come back out of that. So starting to notice that when you squeeze your fingertips together, it adds tension and it adds activation to the entire system. So let's go left leg in front of right, right leg back, both feet squared up. Look over the cliff just a little bit. Scoop the hands from the bottom, keep the elbows low. From right here, right hip is coming across. Dropping that right shoulder in conjunction with how that right hip drops. From right there, reach the hips back, push your hips back, push your hands forward. Ready? Squeeze fingertips. 5, push. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center and relax. We're going to go back to the first side one more time. You're starting to realize how much work you can do. We're not under load. We don't have a bar in the back, nothing. Mobility Monday, guys. Right leg in front of left, strong foot position. Take a peek. Can you see between your toes? If you can't, you might want to consider getting some of those toe spreaders from Amazon. They're like $9. But wear them 10, 15 minutes at a time. Don't overdo it. Okay, looking down at my foot, my toes look pretty good right now. Ready? Look over the cliff. Chin back, chest up. We've got a nice big active rib cage. Hands to the front, elbows are low. Bringing that left hip across the right side. Drive into the big hip, our big toe on the right leg. Hold that nice and strong. Ready? We're going to 5 big breaths here. Push your fingertips together. 4. Push your hips back even further. Reach your hands further out in front. Add more tension into that hip. 1 more big breath. Rotate back to the center. Come back out of it. I definitely got a little hunchy on that one. I added a little bit of tension. Good. All right, from right here, left leg's in front of right. Pushing into that big toe. Drop into that forward lean. Hands to the back. Right there, nice and strong. Chin back, chest up. Scoop from the bottom. Add the weight of the arms. Push into that big toe. From right here, we're going to bring that back hip across. Let that right hip drop, and the right hip shoulder drops in conjunction with the right hip. From right there, push the hips back, hands to the front. Add more tension to that lead hip. Push your fingertips together, 5 big breaths. Keep finding the space. 3, 4, and 5. And relax. So because we took the moment to activate the inner thigh muscles, we put the yoga block between the knees, we were able to get more activation, more opportunity to make a positive impact with that glute med, maybe a little bit of TFL, the lateral stabilizing aspects of the hips and body. So from right here, let's have a seat on your mat. Put your feet together. We've been having some increased focus with the feet. So from here, from this seated position, 2 hands behind your back, right here, what I want you to do is drop and try to touch the bottoms of your toes together. Try and do that while keeping your knees together. Now, see if you can do that. That's inversion. Now, what I want you to do is the exact opposite. Keep the knees together. Drop the big toes down. Lift the pinky toes up. Activate peroneals and anterior tip. Dorsiflex your feet by pulling your toes towards your shins. Drop your big toes. Try and lift your pinky toes and squeeze your knees together. All right, good. And just bounce the legs out. From right here, keeping your hands behind your back. Spread your fingertips out. We're just going to point the toes, flex the toes. 2, and pull back towards you. This is called dorsiflexion. Pull them hard. 3, 4, 5. We got 10 of these. 6. The problem with always doing calf raises and exercises and loaded exercises, things that you think are strengthening your Achilles tendon, they might be strengthening the Achilles tendon, but maybe they're overloading it as well. So I'm very much an advocate for doing unloaded ankle mobility exercises like this. When you think about if you're running just 6 miles, you're getting approximately 10,000 steps. So that's 10,000 loadings of that Achilles tendon. So my question to you is, and I don't know the answer, but the question is that enough loading? Like maybe I should find another way to strengthen that whole lower leg and have it work together rather than more loading in the same plane with more intensity. I don't know that necessarily serves us. So like I said, I don't know the answer, but I do know that if I strengthen my hamstrings and activate my glutes, mobilize my upper back, I'm a better shock absorber, and thus I can remove load from the Achilles tendon rather than go after it and try and keep asking it to get stronger and stronger. Okay, let's put left ankle on right knee. So much of this stuff, you guys, is so part of the conversation. There's so many conversations about optimizing athletic performance for all different ages and all different athletes. Whether static stretching is bad or dynamic stretching is better. You know, I don't know the answer to these things. All I know is what works with the athletes that I work with and the mentors that I have, and then doing with what I can when people walk in the room to make sure that I'm doing everything I can do to serve them in the best way possible. But I do know that if your quads hurt when you're running, maybe you need some stronger quads, but chances are very good your quads are overactive. They're doing too much. And that's why when you just put something on an island and say, do all the work, it tends to get overworked, and then it starts to talk to you, and then it starts to be painful, and then you think it's weak, but it's not. Peace. Okay, just a quick wind up. Mobility Monday. Happy New Year. Happy 2022. Be good to people. Be good to your body. Now that you're moving really well, definitely get some hydration going, because all that tissue is open and ready to become more and more healthy. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I'll see you next Monday. Peace.